Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondorian Smith, and today I'm going to bring you guys yet another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. Now, this one was a very fun 4-person FFA, or free-for-all. It was actually a civil war of the evil men in Middle-earth, and what that means is that there's one army of Harad being commanded by myself, one army of Rune being commanded by Dark Elven King, one army of Khan being commanded by Declan Gardener, and one army way over here of Umbar being commanded by Reprise. Now, you may have noticed actually that the units and pretty much the overall everything looks a little bit different. That's because I downloaded a thing called Reshade, which is a pretty self-explanatory program. It reshades video games in general. It makes them a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer looking, which is definitely good for the older games like Medieval 2 Total War. I have version 3.0.8. I can actually open up the menu for you now if you'd like to see it. It's pretty user-friendly. You know, you can just put things on and off to make them look like whatever you like. This is a little bit too cartoony for me, but still, you know, it's a pretty cool program. This is actually what I have, what it looks like right now with Reshade on and with Reshade off. Just how Third Age Reforged looks vanilla is this. So it looks a little bit better definitely for things like YouTube. Definitely one of my favorite things though for making YouTube videos, this one. It's called ASCII. Doesn't that look just absolutely great for Third Age Reforged? Makes everything look so much better. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, without any further ado, we'll get into the army compositions, starting off with my own. As you can see, I am commanding the army of Harad. I have one unit of Serpent Bodyguard, which is where my general is. They're a very nice light cavalry unit, and they're a little bit better than the Serpent Guard because they do have hit points, which means they can take missile fire a little bit better. However, still, because they're a light cavalry unit, you want to keep them out of missile fire as well as possible. Over here, you can see I have one unit of Serpent Guard. Their main issue is, of course, the missile fire. They're pretty similar to the Royal Guard of Rohan. I believe they're like 950 florins, so kind of expensive, but again, they're light cavalry, so they are very, very fast. I also have 2 units of Muhad Beast Masters on their very fearsome looking camels. This is, oh, excuse me, this is actually a mounted javelin unit. Now, what this was originally going to be, I wanted to be a 4 versus 4 of Harad and Umbar versus Rune and Khan, but there were not enough players on. However, because I had been trying to do this video for some time, I found that one of the hardest things about facing Rune is definitely their heavy cavalry. Things like the Serpent Guard and the Serpent Bodyguard really cannot fight too well against the heavily armored heavy cavalry of Rune without support. So I did bring 2 units of Muhad Beast Masters, to kind of deal with that heavily armored menace of the Rune cavalry. Now for my infantry, I have 5 units of Southern Warband, a very, very nice mainline infantry. They do have 16 attack, which is actually very incredible for a spear unit because things like Gondor infantry only has 11 attack. However, the main thing that's not good about the Southern Warband is they do have relatively low defense values, that being I believe around 21. However, they are AP, which means they can fight against some very much more expensive units than themselves reasonably well. I also have 4 units of a dismounted Serpent Guard, who I must say I really, really like the look of. I love the colors and their kind of small-ish round shields, and their scimitars look very nice as well. 3 of them are right here, and the 4th one is up there on that hill. So I have 2 units of Muhad Berserkers, a nice AP unit. I was originally wanting to go after Rune, but because Khan was right here, I was going to actually go after them. However, they deployed pretty far away, so I decided to actually go focus more towards Rune. I also have 1 unit of Haradrim Archers, really a very cheap archer unit, only like 5 missile damage, like 5 defense, 4 attack, something like that. However, you know, with massive volleys they can do okay. Mainly it's just like kind of to annoy the enemy, to kind of like provoke them into charging into your lines. I also up here have 1 unit of the Demons of the Desert, who are a very, very nice javelin unit. I believe 30 missile attack. They can take down pretty much any heavily armored unit very quickly, very easily. However, as you can see, they do not have much armor, so if you do focus them down with missiles, they can drop it very quickly. Over here you can also see I have a unit of Hashari Shadows, which is pretty much the only elite archer unit that Harad has to offer at the moment. They have like 11 missile damage and a few hit points maybe, and they can of course hide anywhere. And back here, my last 2 units are of course 2 Trollmen of Harad, who are a very nice sword and shield unit. They are AP with 3 hit points, so they're very, very fearsome indeed. And so next we'll go over to the army of Rune being commanded by Dark Elven King, and we'll look over his army composition. So he has 1 unit of the Kamul's Chosen, which is a very nice sword and shield infantry unit. Very expensive too. They are AP with their nice recurved swords, and that is why his general is in that unit. He also has 2 units of Lok Inos Rim, some nice heavy cavalry, no hit points, but still pretty reasonably high attack and defense values. 1 unit of Kamul's Dragonites, and 1 unit of Bodyguard, which is over there with the other unit of Lok Inos Rim. The Kamul's Dragonites are nice because they are, of course, very, very heavily armored with hit points and have the bonus against cavalry. However, they are very slow. Also has 4 units of Lok Flagrim, a very nice mainline infantry. They are AP. However, they do only have 162 men in the unit. You can see 2 of them here, and I believe 2 of them over there as well. He also has 2 units of runic Swiftblades, quite a bit cheaper than the Loke Flagrim, a few more men in the unit. However, they really do not have the greatest attack and defense stats. If you don't support them, they will drop pretty quickly. He also has 2 units of Loke Narum, a nice medium tier archer unit that Rune has to offer, right here or over there. This is 1 Ballista, 1 unit of Dragon's Wrath Guildsmen who are a shock infantry unit with their 2 swords. However, even though they are heavily armored, they can drop to archer fire as long as it is something like crossbows or maybe a little bit higher tier archer unit. Something maybe like the Hishari Shadows. It says, I don't know if I already said, but he also has 1 Ballista. And then over here, he has 2 units of Clane Crossbowmen, a very, very cost-effective unit, however, because they do have like 14, 16, maybe a little bit higher, I don't know, missile damage, and they are, of course, AP. However, they do not have very much armor, so if they are targeted by enemy archers, they will drop pretty quickly, and as they are crossbows, they do not have the greatest range. So if you can use them well, they are very, very effective. However, if you're not careful with them, they can get shot down relatively quickly. It says 3 units of Clansmen, 2 here, and then 1 back there. And that pretty much sums it up for Dark Elven King's Runic Army. So we'll go over here now to the Army of Umbar, who is being commanded by Reprise. Now, let me see here if I can actually read my notes. Okay, so he has 1 unit of Naru and Aru Royal Archers, a very, very high tier archer unit that Umbar has to offer, which is where his general is. 2 units of Abrazenim Narduzawib, a pretty nice archer unit, very heavily armored, so pretty hard to shoot down. However, they are relatively low in numbers. Well, not really. They still have 122 men units, so I take that back. Also, has 1 unit of Castmir's Rangers hidden somewhere over here. They are not to be underestimated in melee, actually. However, they can be shot down relatively quickly because, of course, they have low armor, even though they do have hit points. Also, has 2 units of Belagar Halberds, a pretty nice halberd unit, kind of cheap, and they are AP. Really, there's not much you can expect from them except that they will do their job as a halberd unit. Also has the only pretty much cavalry unit that Umbar has to offer at the moment, which is that of the Warlords of Umbar, a very elite unit. However, they're not super great. Like against something like the Kumul's Chosen or the Kumul's Dragon Knights, they will fall. They do look very, very nice, though. I really like the colors of them. Over here, though, he is where most of his elite infantry is. He has 2 units of Casimir's Chosen who have 3 hit points, like 44 defense. Very nice sword and shield unit. Definitely very, very deadly in the melee. Also has 2 units of Abrazenim Nardudarik. Pretty similar. I believe they only have 2 hit points, though. And they are AP with their maces. This has 3 units of Belagar Footmen. A pretty cheap spearman unit. Not the greatest. I believe they are not AP. Maybe they are. I don't know. They kind of look like they might have like some harpoon-ish spear weapons. So maybe they are AP. I don't know exactly. But anyway, you know, they're just pretty much a low mid-tier spearman unit. They do not have the greatest morale. But that is kind of the issue that most of the Evil Men factions actually have. He also has 1 unit of Corsair Savages, a pretty nice shock infantry unit. However, if you keep them in melee too long, they will fall, and of course they can get shot down really easily. He also has 3 units of Corsair Warriors, who, despite their kind of weak-looking appearance, they are pretty decent, especially if you give them some support. So we'll now go over to the 4th and final army, which is being commanded by Declan Gardner, who is commanding the army of Khand. So because the rules were 4 cav, 1 artillery, but Khand is not actually able to bring any artillery, he was actually able to bring 5 units of cavalry. There's 1 unit of a Brotherhood of the Lance. Right here you can see the general right there with his nice purple and silver uniform. 1 unit of Brotherhood of the Bow, one of the probably the best actually horse archer unit in the game at the moment. 2 units of Wind Riders of Khand, very, very fast, however they can get shot down pretty quickly. And he has 1 unit of Nurad Windblades, who, if you saw my other FFA battle, can be very, very deadly if used effectively. Also has 1 unit of Variag Warriors, a pretty nice shock infantry unit, but because they do not have shields, they can get shot down pretty quickly. Also has 1 unit of Brotherhood of the Sword, who are a little bit worse than the Brotherhood of the Axe because they don't have AP. However, against some of the cheaper, like low to mid tier units, they can just absolutely wreck. He also has 1 unit of Nurad Assassins that is hiding somewhere right over here, who are very nice. However, just like the Brotherhood of the Sword, can get shot down. Well, just like both these units actually can get shot down pretty quickly. He also has 3 units of Haru's Light Infantry. They are AP. However, they're really not the best. And one of Khan's definite faults is that they do not have a great morale for pretty much all their units all across the board. So you have to be very, very careful with them and make sure you do not lose your general early in the battle. He also has 5 units of Nerniag Infantry, who are not a bad archer unit at all. He has 5 units of them, I believe. Yeah, 5 units. They have 163 men in the unit. Also, they have 11 missile attack, which is actually better than a lot of archer units in the game. Like Gondor, I believe, only has 9 missile damage at the max for all of their archers. However, they do have like in compensate for that because they do have like 5 different archer units to choose between from. But anyway, yes, they They also are not bad in melee. I believe they have like 13 attack, 26 defense, so these guys are definitely a very cost-effective unit. And over here you can see some more, like this his main line of infantry, which is 3 units of Nurad footmen, who I must say again, I believe I'm saying this a lot, look very, very nice. I love the purple with the silver and their nice, almost door-looking shields. Very nice looking. They are AP, pretty good mainline infantry. So without any further ado, we will go ahead and start it off. Now, for the most part, what happens in the beginning anyway is Khand and Umbar go after each other, and for the I really like from just prior experience fighting against Rune and the Herod versus Rune thing. The cavalry of Rune is very, very deadly, especially late in the game. So I was trying to deal with the cavalry as quickly as possible, and so you will see a lot of cav fighting between myself and Dark Elven King in the beginning. However, you don't have to worry about wanting some infantry fight early on, because that is exactly what happens between Khand and Umbar. You can actually see the Nerniak infantry moving forward. I believe he was going to go for Rune, but then he saw my cavalry moving towards him, so he does actually change targets and go towards Umbar, who is just over this hill. Okay, so you can actually see Umbar beginning to move forward. You can see the warlords kind of sweeping around, and you can see a lot of the, pretty much the entire army of Reprise moving forward. You can see that the Casimir's Rangers are going to lose formation and have come out from hiding. So definitely, this is going to be a very, very nice battle. Oh, I forgot to say that Reprise actually has Winia of Corsair Blackguards. So yes, this civil war of the evil men in Middle-earth is definitely going to be a very, very bloody one. I don't really plan to make this a whole series, but maybe just like one or two battles, but still, it should be very interesting. Also, I don't know if you guys really care or not, but the Star Wars Battlefront EA anyway, beta comes out tomorrow, and I'm definitely going to play it hopefully on Friday. I might stream it a little bit, probably will make videos of it once the game actually fully comes out, but I'm not too sure yet. Okay, you can see a charge coming right now. Oh no, take it back. Looks like the Wind Riders of Khand were going to charge right into these Billiger Halberds, who, if they're not in formation, actually will take quite a few losses. But once they get in formation, they will be able to just wreck the cavalry. You see a few of them actually going down to some archer fire of the Brotherhood of the Bow. The Wind Riders of Khand are actually charging straight into those Billiger Halberds. Oh, taking down a lot of them actually, taking about like 30 or so. Yeah, dang. However, you can see that the Wind Riders definitely paid for it in Horsemen. You can see they actually went down to about half strength. Yeah, you can see some Casimir's Rangers trying to shoot down those Wind Riders of Khand. Yeah, the Brotherhood of the Bow is still firing at those Billiger Halberds. I'll pause it for just a second because I believe there is some stuff going on that we will not want to miss. Yes, I actually just missed it. Dark Elven King actually sent over one of Lok Inasrim as well as the bodyguard over here. I believe he was trying to cycle charge into the backs of these Nerniak infantry, who are in a very nice position. They're actually able to fire past this hill, and which means it's going to be very, very difficult for Umbar to return fire. Anyway, he tried to charge into them. However, Khand was definitely ready for that, and you can actually get some Brotherhood of the Lance and some Wind Riders of Khand fighting against the Runic Heavy Cavalry. And over here, you can see that my Beast Tamers are throwing their javelins at the Lok Inasrim and Camille's Dragons Knights. You can see a lot of my Muhead Beast Tamers were actually killed because they were not able to throw their javelins quick enough. We can see now that some of the Lok Inasrim are starting to drop. And you can also see over here that the Ballista is actually beginning to target my Muhead Beast Masters. I believe it might be saying Beast Tamers some of the time. I do apologize for that. You can also see Lokanar actually firing at my cavalry as well. Okay, over here you can see that some more stuff is going on. You can see that Declan Gardner is beginning to move forward some of his infantry, that in the form of some Nurad footmen and some, his Brotherhood units are over there as well as the Barrack Warriors. And the Nerniak infantry is actually having to change their target from the Umbar archers and infantry, and they're actually going to fire at these Lok Inasrim and bodyguard, who are just sitting there, and they're going to definitely pay for it. You can see a lot of them dropping to that arrow fire. Ooh, yes, it looks like Dark Elven King is actually now going to try to charge right into maybe those Corsair Warriors, and maybe try to get around the back and try to charge into some archers. You can see some Nirnyag footmen or infantry are actually firing now at these Corsair Savages. Oh yes, a very nice charge into those Corsair Warriors by the Cavalry of Rune. And you can see some more Corsair Warriors are going to charge up this hill and begin the melee fight against Khand. Over here you can see it actually has already begun. Some Belagir footmen are fighting against some Nurad footmen. And some, looks like some Variag warriors are also going to join the fray. That archer fire though is really devastating, especially because you can see that these Corsair Savages are already down to 38, and now they're going to get pretty much butchered by these Variag warriors. See that right here though, there's kind of just a standoff between these Corsair warriors and Nurad footmen just staring each other down, not charging yet. I believe nothing of importance has happened over on my side just yet though. Actually, you see some Haruz light infantry charging into the fight as well. And over here, you can see that Umbar is trying to flank around. He's got some Belagir footmen, maybe some Halberds not far behind as well. Yeah, some Halberds are right there. Belagir footmen, I believe, trying to charge into the flank right here. However, they were kind of... One unit was stopped by the Brotherhood units right here, as well as the Nurad assassins. And back here, you can see actually that some cavalry of Khand is beginning to move forward again. You see the Brotherhood of the Bow, who look like they're out of ammo, are probably going to go after the archer units of Umbar. And you can see that what's left of Rune's cavalry is beginning to retreat back to where his main army is. Oh yes, that was the only important thing that happened over here. I brought forward my Herodrum archers. They took a brutal charge. However, it was actually okay for me because it did bring some Dragon Knights and a Nuzrim into the range of my javelins, who, as you can see, it did a pretty decent job right there. We can see right there my Muhad Beast Tamers, who were Masters, I'm sorry, who were out of ammo. I just kind of threw in, just to try to stop them long enough to get my archers to fire at this block of cavalry. You can actually see some Loknarim marching forward. I believe they're going to try to fire at my Beast Masters that are over there, yes. Anyway, we'll start it up again and go ahead and look over here. Oh, looks like the Brotherhood of the Bow are actually going to fight in melee from the back. No, I take it back. Yeah, they're going to charge, it looks like, into these Aberzenim and Narduzawib, while the Brotherhood of the Lance are charging into the back of these Corsair Warriors. Because of the hill, they're not going to get a great charge bonus. However, the Brotherhood of the Lance will do very well in melee. See right here that the main line of Nurad footmen is starting to thin, and so Declan Gardner is sending forward some Haruz light infantry. Yes, over here as well. He's sending forward some more infantry, and you can see the main portion of reprises. Elite infantry is still just back here waiting. Assume, ooh, that was a mistake by Declan Gardner right there, bringing his Brotherhood of the Bow in range of those javelins. Definitely one of the best ways to deal with cavalry, if you have none left, is with your javelins. As you can see, taking a lot of them down right there. Take a quick look over here again. Looks like nothing of real importance has happened still. Oh, my poor Herodrum archers are gonna get charged again. The Camul's Dragon Knights are down to 40. They were at 48, and the Lok Innisrim are already down from 63 to 16. And yes, you can see my Serpent bodyguards coming into view. That is because, as he does not really have any cavalry right now, because they are focusing against my archers, I am going to get a nice charge off onto these Loknarim, who kind of stuck their neck out a little too far and are going to pay for it.
Curse the sun that shines on our disgrace. We must turn the wind of battle.
He did notice at the last second though, and he is going to get off one pretty good volley before my cavalry gets to him. However, because they do have 8 hit points, they will be able to take that volley without taking any losses. Ooh, a very nice charge right there by the Super Bodyguard. Ooh, that is rather unfortunate for Rune. Unit going from 162 down to 102. He's going to try to chase down my bodyguard, but because the heavy cavalry is just too slow, they will not be able to. Okay, we'll look over here and see the Inerniag infantry still firing at Umbar's forces. And you can see that he's actually pretty much dealt with all of Umbar's first wave kind of infantry. You can see right here that some warlords of Umbar are fighting against some Wind Riders of Khan and all of Khan's more elite units. And yes, you can see that Umbar is bringing forward all of his elite units as well. You can see some Casimir's Chosen and some Corsair Blackguards, as well as some Abrazenim Nordu Turek. And a few Belagear Halberds to boot. Oh, look at this. Yes, 128 Belagear footmen routed. Like I said, one of the main issues with most of the Evil Men factions is, of course, the somewhat low morale. Some Belagear Halberds beginning to move forward. I was going to say, I wonder if those... Okay, yes, the 128 Belagear footmen did come back from routing, so that's nice. For Umbar, of course. Not too great for Khan, but still. Let's take a look over here. The Warlords of Umbar, because they were in melee for too long, did take quite a beating. They're down to 8. Brotherhood of the Lance are still 24. Brotherhood of the Axe and Sword are still going strong. But the Nurad Assassins look like they have taken quite a few losses. Over against the against something like the Casimir's Chosen, all of these units will start to struggle, especially with the presence of these Corsair Blackguards who are still firing javelins. Ooh, and you can see the archer fire beginning to take a toll on Khan's forces. See, Khan really needs to silence those Abrazenim Narduzawid and Naru Royal Archers, who are focusing the Brotherhood of Lance, it looks like. Now, I cannot put enough stress on this, on how important having cavalry late in the game is. You'll see a lot of the time that, I'll pause it for a second, that most people kind of just almost throw away their cav because they're being a little too aggressive with it, but as you will see later, because of my Serpent Bodyguard and Serpent Guard, that having cav late in the game is incredibly useful. You can see that I am actually marching forward pretty much with my entire army. You can see my Demons of the Desert I'm going to focus down these Kamul's Dragonites with, and you'll see just a lot of them drop because of it. Ooh, there goes pretty much the whole front row of those Kamul's Dragonites. See, my whole arm, my whole horde, it's almost like locusts just marching forward. Now, these poor clansmen are really just not going to stand a chance at all against any of my units. They're just going to get absolutely butchered right away. Oh, yes, this is... Oh, I'm sorry for that. Oh, I'm sorry, that was kind of weird. Now, this is actually definitely what I wanted. You can see some NSRM and some bodyguard, I believe, too. I wanted to use my cavalry to kind of stick in with his cavalry just long enough to give my infantry time enough to kind of support my cavalry, because in a cav-to-cav engagement, my cav would definitely lose. Oh, and there goes Khan's general getting taken out by some Umbar archers. See a lot of breaking clansmen, and my troops are just constantly moving forward still. Ooh, my Muhad Berserkers charging into those clan crossbows, but not soon enough to stop them from getting off a brutal volley on my southbound warband right here, who are now charging into some Roke Flagrin. My army just moving forward, just like an absolute horde. Really, I didn't do the best job of kind of spreading out my forces. I kind of just like blobbed them up pretty bad. Fortunately for me, though, I was able to stop his artillery from firing before he was able to take advantage of my blobbed up troops. Yes, so now pretty much I have the cav advantage right now. I still have one of very healthy Serpent Guard and Serpent Bodyguards. You can see they have taken a few casualties. Oh, and you can see right there, because the Kamul's Dragonites didn't run away from my Demons of the Desert, they did take some more casualties. However, they're not going to go down without a fight, charging straight to my dismounted Serpent Guard, still taking quite a few. Wow, taking a lot with them, actually. Even though there were so very few of them left. Oh, you can see my Serpent Guard charging straight into those clan crossbows, which is definitely a very important target, because if he was able to keep these clan crossbows, they'd be able to do a very excellent job at taking out my cavalry. So I definitely just try to silence them as quickly as possible. Speaking of silencing, you can see these Loknarim have actually been stuck in melee with some dismounted Serpent Guard and some Southern Warband. And my Southern Warband unit right here has actually silenced the Ballista. Over here, you can actually see that some more of his some more of Rune's better infantry is in the fight. You can see some runic Swiftblades here, as well as some Log Flagrim. Over right here, these Log Flagrim, I'm sorry, are just getting absolutely butchered by my units of Trollmen of Harad, who are just absolutely a wrecking ball unit. They're also very, very nice because, of course, they're shields, which means they are very hard to take out with missiles, unless it is, of course, like javelins or crossbows. Anyway, we'll take a look over here at the Khand versus Umbar engagement. You can see there's still... Okay, yeah. Declan Gardner has actually had to commit all 5 of his units of archers because most of his infantry is pretty much dealt with at this point. Yes, and all up here, these Brotherhood units have pretty much been destroyed. You can see there's only 31 Brotherhood of the Axe left, and the Neurite Assassins are dropping very quickly as well. So definitely over here, it looks as if Umbar is starting to take the victory against Khand. Okay, yeah, over here you can see that the Camul's Chosen actually being committed, going to get a very nice charge off onto the back of this unit of dismounted Serpent Guard. However, I was able to fire off my last javelin volley of the Demons of the Desert as well. You can see the Dragon's Wrath Guildsmen are also in the fight against some Southern Warband and dismounted Serpent Guard. And over here you can see my Serpent Guard and Serpent Bodyguard charging into these Locanar Ring. I can see some clan crossbows right here as well, but I'm going to be able to run them down with my Hashari Shadows, who are now out of ammo. Oh, come on. Maybe not. They're actually probably going to get a volley off. Oh no, I take it back. They almost got a volley off. Over here, Rune is really starting to struggle against my pretty much just mass push. He just didn't have enough units and didn't have enough time to set up a reasonable defense against such a huge push of a large amount of troops. Now the Camul's Chosen are really starting to cut down my dismounted Serpent Guard and stuff, so I have for some Demons of the Desert. However, because of this, they have pretty much split their unit in half. And over here you can see my Trollmen of Harad have dealt with that unit of Log Flagrim and are now sweeping around the backside of these Log Flagrim and runic Swiftblades, who are shaken and wavering. You can see some Muhad Berserkers in there as well. And you can still see my Cavs just running amok, just absolutely butchering all of the archers and backline of Rune. Getting some very nice cycle charges off. This Serpent... Okay, yes, Dark Elven King actually did a very smart move here. He was actually able to move this unit of Clansmen in front of his Locanar, which stopped my Serpent Bodyguard actually from getting a good charge off against these Locanar. See, my other unit of Serpent Guard has taken a lot of casualties. Actually, they're down to 24, and they're fighting against some clan crossbows who were trying to run away, but I was able to catch up with them. Over here you can see some Hashari Shadows going around the flank of these Log Flagrim. Pretty much the only area where Rune is looking strong definitely is just right here, where he has some Log Flagrim and a Dragon's Wrath Guildsman. His Camul's Chosen are still fighting strong. However, now that I have dealt with all of his infantry right here, I will be free to again just sweep around the flank of his units and just pretty much deal with what he has left. Because just like all elite units, once the Camul's Chosen are surrounded, they will be cut down pretty quickly. Demons of the Desert still at 73 and still fighting strong. See some Trollmen charging in, as well as some Southern Warband. Oh, there goes the Trollman. Okay, oh, another good charge. This time by the Serpent Guard, and the Serpent Bodyguard are not far behind. However, he is going to try to run them in between these stakes, which will stop me from charging into them with my cavalry. And over here, though, you can see that Rune and Khand have pretty much stopped fighting because most of what Khand had left actually had broken and routed. So he decided to just kind of try to run back here, maybe hoping that me and Umbar would kind of kill each other off enough that he could kind of swoop in and steal the victory, as what his plan was anyway. Because over here you can see that Umbar has dealt with Khand, which I was actually very surprised because Khand just had so much infantry left, but I guess just because of how many elites that Umbar had left, he was actually able to defeat Khand pretty easily. Well, not easily, but he was able to defeat Khand. But it was at a pretty hefty cost. You can see that those Abrazenim are due to record down to 36. these Casimir's chosen are down to 40, and I assume that's pretty much what it's like for most of his elites. Over here, though, you can see now cycle charging into the back of these Dragon's Wrath Guildsmen and Loke Flagrim. And I'm going to use my Hishari Shadows to silence these Loknarim, who are targeting down my Serpent Guard. Not the Bodyguard, they're targeting the Serpent Guard, who are down to 13, 12. I think we'll just kind of watch the fight for a minute, though, instead of just moving around. Oh, also, the 300 subscriber special will be coming out relatively soon. I want to try to do something a little bit different, but still pretty cool for it. And also, I may, like I said before, I may make some Battlefront 2 videos. Because I was a huge fan of the 2015 EA Star Wars Battlefront. I have like 311 hours on it for my PS4. And I was also a huge fan of the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the Xbox. So I'm really excited for the EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017. It comes out November 17th. Default game anyway. Okay, yeah, you can see most of my army is going to continue sweeping around. I'm going to kind of help out my Hishari Shadows here against these Loknarim. And then after that, I'm just going to flank around what's left of these Camille's Chosen and these Dragon's Wrath Guildsmen and Loke Flagrim, who, as you can see, are starting to drop relatively quickly. Ooh, another just brutal charge by my Servant Bodyguards, who are now down to 31, and because it's pretty late in the battle, you will see them start to drop more quickly because most of the hit points are taken off by now. Ah, yes, and here's pretty much the nail in the coffin for Rune because you can see my Muhad Berserkers and the rest of my army just charging into what he has left. Yeah, let me see. I have 30 Serpent Bodyguard left, and yeah, you can see my Serpent Guard, who I only have 6 left. I was actually chasing after some of Khan's routing troops, just to kind of try to get a few more kills. I know it's kind of scummy thing to do, but still, that's why they're over there. And over here, you can see that Umbar has taken up a very nice position on this defensive position on this hill. Still has 111 Casimir's Rangers, who, like I said before, should not be trifled with in melee. Well, should not be underestimated in melee, I should say. Also has a few Abrazin and Deuteric. Oh yeah, the Runic General being taken out by one of my Demons of the Desert, looks like. Still got 63 Halberds, still got a health unit of Naru Royal Archers, and a couple other elites as well. And I believe that was actually Rune that being defeated because he had pretty much nothing left at the time. Yes, so you can see that I have dealt with Rune pretty much, just cutting down the last of his breaking troops. Oh, and also, I actually will be unable to make a Reforged video, well, play a Reforged video next week. I try to upload once a week, but I do have one actually lined up to upload next week, but I actually won't be able to actually like play one next week. So yeah, and that's mostly just because of the fact that I will be playing the Battlefront 2 beta. So yeah, just let me know if you guys do want to see videos of the Battlefront 2 beta, because I will definitely oblige you. Okay, so yes, you can see that I have dealt with Rune, so what is left of my army I am going to kind of reform and then start to go after Umbar over there. And you can see over here my Serpent Bodyguard and Serpent Guard are just charging into what Khan has left. Actually, right here, my Super Bodyguard did get a nice charge off. However, they are starting to get surrounded. Oh. My 5 Serpent Guard actually got a very nice charge off on those Neuride Footmen, who are at 50 and are now down to 29. But yeah, you can see they're already shaken. A few of them were actually wavering because Khan does not have a good morale at all. I did actually lose 4 of my Serpent Bodyguard there, right, though. Yes, you can see my horde of troops beginning to move forward again, now going to target Umbar. Serpent Bodyguard charging into these Nerniag infantry and Neuride Footmen who have now broken. You actually see what's left of my Muhad Beastmasters there as well. Because actually wasn't able to show it because there was more fighting going on with Khan and Umbar, but my Beastmasters were actually killed by the Runic Heavy Cavalry. Yes, you can see my Hishari Shadows were the first to reposition themselves because they are, of course, very fast. And this is going to be the nail in the coffin for these Nerniag infantry. Ah, yes, he actually made defeat. Okay. So now pretty much all that is left is me. Well, yeah, obviously. All that is left is my army and Umbar's. Actually, see 3 of the Warlords of Umbar are going to charge into my Demons of the Desert. However, because my Demons of the Desert do have a bonus against cavalry, they will be able to cut down the Warlords of Umbar pretty quickly. However, the Warlords will actually get a pretty nice charge off. Let's see how many they kill. So 68, and then because of that charge, down to 66. No, 65. But yeah, they were just cut down pretty much instantaneously because their hit points were all gone by the time, and the Demons of the Desert do have bonus against cavalry. You can see I've kind of reformed my lines, and I am now going to push them forward. And Umbar, rather than actually taking the defensive position on the hill, has actually marched down kind of more like just bring up all of his units right here, forming a nice line right here with what he has left. Yes, you can see my troops moving forward. My Hishari Shadows look like they're going to be the first into the fight. Looks like they're going to go after these Abrazenim Nerduzawib. Yes. The people of Umbar are not going to ask for mercy. They're going to charge down the hill. They're not just going to wait there, waiting for their doom. See my Serpent Bodyguard and Serpent Guard going to charge over those Casimir's Rangers. And over here you can see my Muhad Berserkers fighting against those Casimir's Chosen. And just all along the line you can see more fighting beginning to happen. Ooh, a nice javelin volley by those Corsair Blackguards, but I believe that was their last volley. So while that fight begins, I think we'll go ahead and take a look at all of just the death and destruction that has happened so far in this battle. You can see a mass of Umbar and Khan bodies just right here on this hill. And over here you'll see a lot of runic bodies, and Harad, of course. Right here you can see is where the Trollmen just absolutely butchered that portion of Lokflagrim. So it's definitely been a very bloody civil war. Okay, yes, you can see some Southern Warband and Dismounted Serpent Guard I was going to try to flank them around these Casimir's Chosen, who are absolutely butchering my poor Muhad Berserkers. Over here, though, you can just see that the mass of my troops is just beginning to prove to be too much for the Umbar player. You can see his lines are starting to slightly buckle just because of the mass of my troops. Yes, some dismounted Serpent Guard, I should say, are fighting some Casimir's Rangers. And the Casimir's Rangers are going to get cycle charged by my Serpent Bodyguard. Oh. I apologize for that. I don't know why that's happened. That's never happened before this. That's also the thing about the reshade. If you don't have a decent PC, it will start to hit your frame rate. But that has actually never happened to me before. Besides the one that happened earlier. I don't know why that's happened, but yeah. Right here, the Nerdu Turek are being cut down, starting to swoop around the flanks really, and right here my Muhad Berserkers are doing the same to the Corsair Blackguards and Abrazenim Nerduzawib, as his Royal Archers are also still fighting hard. Right here you can see a huge mass of my troops right here. I was very happy indeed that he didn't have any artillery expose this blob of troops. Oh, you can see my Muhad Berserkers were just absolutely destroyed by those Casimir's Chosen, who only took like 8 casualties or something doing that. So I am charging these dismounted Serpent Guard and Southern Whirlwind into their back. And you can see that I only have 1 Serpent Guard left. He's cycle charging into the back of what's left of these Eberzen and Narduzagar. And over here you can see my Serpent Bodyguard are going to charge into the back of these Black Guards, as well as the Naru and Naru Royal Archers. I don't know if I can. I'm trying to find where the Umbar General is, but I actually can't see him at the moment. As you can see, we pretty much dealt with everything over here, so I'm going to be able to use these units to just totally surround what's left, what he has left. Oh, there's the general. Okay. Ooh, another cycle charge, or another charge in the back. The Umbar General is really starting to take a beating right now. Probably going to die fairly soon. Oh, he's getting. Oh, yep, he's dead. He's getting stun locked, and now he's dead. I think he was killed by a troll man. See most of my infantry coming back around, and it just really, just how many troops I had left just really proved to be too great for Umbar. He just really took a beating from Khand. He was able to beat Khand, but he just wasn't able to do it, and he didn't have enough men to beat me afterwards. Naru and Naru Royal Archers are broken, fighting to the death, and it looks like he's just got some Casimir's Chosen, maybe a few Blackguards left. And over here, the Casimir's Chosen are still fighting stronger. After dealing with my Muhad Berserkers, they're taking a large portion of my dismounted Serpent Guard with them, actually. It's very surprising how well they were able to do, but then again, they do have multiple hit points. Well, 3 hit points and very high attack and defense values. So I think we'll go ahead and just speed up the final stand of these Casimir's Chosen. Oh, not shift. Still have 1 Serpent Guard, actually. I don't think he actually gets killed, even though he's just fighting against these Casimir's Chosen. See my Serpent Bodyguards coming in as well. And that is it. So it was definitely a very fun battle. A big thank you to all the players involved. So I had 3,355 men deployed and 3,023 kills, 700 prisoners. Reprise had 2,695 kills. Dark Elven King had 1,603 kills, and Declan Gardener had 1,695 kills. Actually, a lot of prisoners all around, surprisingly, except for maybe Dark Elven King. Anyway, we'll take a quick look at the exact statistics, if I can speak. Okay. Yeah, my Serpent Bodyguards gained 4 experience, and they got 614 kills. My Serpent Guard got 312. My Muhad Beast Masters didn't get too many kills, but then again, that was all heavy cavalry that they killed. Demons of the Desert did very well, getting 235. Shard Shadows got 288. My Trollmen, of course, did very well, getting 178 and 161 respectively, and some of my Dismounted Serpent Guard did very well. The Southern Warband did okay, but then again, they are a very cheap unit. And my Muhad Berserkers, one of them actually got 110 kills, surprisingly. So yes, a very, very fun battle indeed. So please comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, please just tell me what I did wrong. And I will see you in the next one. So farewell wherever you fare, till your Armies receive you at your journey's end.